Oh, sorry, running. Started. I'm going to show you how I program C++ and the basics of programming. This is not going to be an advanced video, this is going to be a very basic video. Okay? Anyone can do this because anyone can run a virtual machine. You don't have to install a separate OS. So, here's the... If you're not familiar, this is Ubuntu. Alright, get used to it, because you're going to be using this. First of all, I'm going to go over how to easily create a folder in the command line, because you're not going to be always using, a graphical user interface. First thing, let's create, just for an example, let's make a new folder. Basically, CD means change the directory. Well, that just means to go back one step. Now, how do you know where to go? Well, basically, when you open this, if you don't know where you are, ls, it's like dir in Windows. Okay, so you have all these options to go to. So we obviously want the desktop. So it's the desktop. Now, we want to make a new folder on the desktop, right? So let's just create just for example, a folder named folder. Make dir folder. And there we have it. This is our folder. Alright, whatever. So that was just for an example. Now, let's go inside folder. Now we're inside the folder, so we'll open this one. Now let's just say we're going to create a C++ folder file. I know let's call it main. Main is main, and we have main. Well, now you know there's main. It's opening main. Blah blah. You can type whatever you want, but it's not showing here because it's not saved yet. So we're going to make an easy, really easy program just to say hello. Okay. So first of all, include IO stream, and include string. Whatever I do, I always want to add comments. So these are ignored by the compiler. So using namespace std whatever int main, this is our main function, and like all functions you need an opening and ending thing. Return 1. This could be 5, 3, whatever you want. Okay. Now, like in Java, you would use system.out.print. In C++, you would use cout. This is an example program. Now, to people who don't know what that is, and L basically means end the line, and it goes to the next one. Now, you see what happens when I go past? It basically puts a $sign there, meaning that only means that this line continues on. That's all it means. Okay, so there's our first program, and it is complete. So now we will save it. You're gonna ask us, you want to save the thing? Yes, I do. What do you want to name it? Main. Enter. And immediately you see main pops up over here. Now, what most people fail to understand, well, not fail to understand, is they think there's one more step. You can't just run it like this. If you try to run it like this, it won't work. How can you run it? So what I mean. How, if I wanted to run it, how would I run it? Right? I don't even have anything to run it from. Well, if you're coming from Eclipse, then you would have known to compile the program, but you really don't know what that means because you normally just click a button and it does it all for you. Now you have to do it yourself. So what we use in Linux is G++, and just say whatever the name is, main -o means we want to give it a name. We'll just call it main. Compiles it for you, and you see main, but you can't just click on this. If you click on it, nothing will happen. Now this is saying everything works. Okay, so after you compile it, if you don't want to run it, you just do this. You see, this is an example program. It runs perfectly. Now let's say we go back in Nano, and let's just say we're idiots, right? We don't know what we're doing. And say I fucked up with this. Let's say I did that. Obviously that's an error. And we'll save it, you know, like idiots would, and they don't know what they're doing. Now if you run the program again, it will work perfectly. Why? Because we didn't compile it again. In order for your changes to take effect, you have to compile your program again and again. Even if it's a small change, you have to recompile it. If you don't recompile it, it'll just run the old compilation. So now we'll compile it again. And if you see, if we try to compile it, we ran with a billion errors, right? Now, if you didn't know what you were doing, if you weren't, you know, experienced in programming in Java, then you wouldn't know what the hell this means, because, I mean, what is this, right? Like, you don't know. Because what will happen in an environment like, you know, training wheels, if you had training wheels, it would, you know, highlight what was wrong with your code. Well, now you don't have anything to tell you that. Oops, I did something stupid. Okay, so basically our error was this. You can't have this. This makes no sense. Alright. Okay, now so I've shown you output. We'll go one more step. We'll go input in this lecture tutorial. Okay, so we're going to have an int. You know, integers, variables can have whatever names. It's always good to have a good name for your variables, a descriptive name, unlike community college professors who put really stupid names to confuse your students, which is a really bad habit for professors. We'll just put int. Let's see, what's a good name? We'll just go num. Num is very generic. Int num. So int num. So now we're going to go cin. Basically means input, cin, and num. Right? But you know, this has no meaning. Like, well, you know, what does this mean? Cin num. Yeah, the person won't know what to do. So now we'll have another cout telling the user enter a number, and it will be printed out. Right? So now that we have that, and now we can put it back out, you have entered num. And del. Right? Awesome, right? You know, it seems very simple, but because it is really simple, it seems like common sense to you after you do this for a while. Okay, save. Now we will compile it again. G++main.cpp-o. See, now that this time it worked. Okay, now we have all this crap on our screen. We want to clear it out a bit. So now we run it again. Enter a number and it will be printed out. Okay, 44. You have entered 44. And see how easy that was? That's all there is to it. You know, you write your thing, You know, you can use a command line editor, or you can use this. This is basically Notepad, but if you want to be all pro, I mean, you can use this, or you can do it in the command line. What you don't want to do is rely on the IDE. If you rely on the IDE, you're never going to learn. You're gonna be basically have the IDE babysit you through the whole thing. You're never going to grow up. So that's it. This will shut down. And that's how you do it in Windows. So you don't have to do much. Anyone can do this.